Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Burning Rubber Podcast. I'm Jake Scarborough, joined by my co-host Fidel Fabian, and we're also joined by our special guest, driver the number 23 late model, Brittney Zamora. Brittney, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good, Fabian. What about you?
Doing pretty well.
Well, to kind of cut it in the chase, the non-racing related part, to get that out of the way, you founded Pit Road Pals. This
Correct.
being a huge deal, help increase awareness for shelter pets. So can you tell us more about what Pit Road Pals is about?
Yeah, of course. I started Pit Road Pals back in 2019 when I was doing the K&N tour full time and realized that the platform I had, had a great spot to do something good for other than myself. So what I did was started the animal adoption awareness program, and every race I went to, we visited shelters and paid the adoption fee for an animal that either needed a little bit more help getting noticed or finding their forever home. So it was just a really heartwarming experience, and also kind of like bittersweet at the same time, because you go in there and you just want to take them all home. They're all so sweet. But just to be able to help them, across the country, not in just one region, but across the country, at all the tracks that we raced at, it was really cool. And just to see the impact on the communities that we had with our program, it's really cool.
Fabian?
We ran into your last we ran into the last year to your first win at Nashville. How big of a moment was it for you to make history as the first one to win at the fairgrounds?
That was a really cool moment. I didn't actually know that I was the first woman to win there until I got out of the car in victory lane. So I didn't even know that was something like achievable that I could do that night. But it was just a really special night in general, because I got to race with my team again and be back at Nashville. And it was kind of like go all in and give it all you got, because I didn't know when my next race was going to be. So put it all out there, and just to go win was great in itself against the competition there. And then to get out of the car and they're like, you just made history, I was like, holy cow, like that's really cool. Just like the cherry on top of the night, and it all just kind of fell together like perfectly, and it was a really fun night.
Well, to add on to that last question, how lifting is it to know that there are kids watching, like little girls, for example, that see you made history that night. So how uplifting is that to kind of see that there are kids like that can look up to you and find inspiration off that?
Yeah, I hope it's impactful on them. I remember telling a story to somebody that growing up, I didn't really have as many like female drivers to look up to as role models, just because there wasn't many of them. You had big name like Danica Patrick, and that's about it. That was like the public eye. So I feel like now, with me being in the position I am in racing, as well as like the other girls in the accelerator program and all that kind of stuff, like we're now the faces for the next generation to look up to and be that inspiration. So it's really cool every race I go to see the next generation of drivers coming up to you, and just the smiles on their faces that they met you, and just to know that I'm doing what I love and it's also inspiring somebody else. It's a really cool deal.
Fabian?
Back in 2019, you were obviously still in the NASCAR Canon West Series for BMR. Some fans look back at that and fear you never really got the proper chance. Do you feel at all this was the case?
Yes and no. I mean, I was lucky enough to be in that position that year. I never had the funding to get myself to that level. So to compete in the K&N series for a full year was a really great opportunity. I wish it had, been extended a few years, even 2 years or 3 years, just to really, because I feel like the first year it's all about learning, right? Like you're learning new tracks, new car, the team, new series, competition, rule, like all this stuff is just all brand new. So I feel like the first year is just like getting comfortable in the series and figuring out where you compete in it. And then after that, I feel like you can build on it. And never got the chance to build on it, but I did get the chance to build in other forms of racing and late models, super late models, competed for back-to-back championships and super late models, got the opportunity to race out east with Rackley War. So just because that wasn't in the K&N series, I wouldn't say it didn't go how I wanted, but because I still got the opportunities, it's just in a different car and different series, and they're still really beneficial to my career, and they help building my career up to what it is today, and continuing to do so down the road.
Well, as most people don't know, and it was not that long before your Nashville win, you made a decision to move out of Washington, being your home state, to kind of help pursue that NASCAR run. So, do you feel like that decision has helped so far?
Um, Yes, I feel like being out on the West Coast that you're kind of limited to what you can do and where you can race and like how high up on the ladder you can go. So, did the K&N series, that's about the highest you can get out there, and figured that, if I'm going to go race late models, I've been there, done that on the West Coast and raced against competition, have the championships, the wins, all that kind of stuff. And I want to go see if that transfers out to the East Coast with different competition, teams, tracks, all that kind of stuff. So moving out to Nashville was really great for my career. Met a lot of new people. That's where I met Rackley Roofing and the Willie Allen Racing team. So, and that's still what I'm racing with today. So I feel like definitely helps me get to that next step. And I feel like you're only as good as the competition you race against. So I feel like I'm always wanting to one up that and do better every week I race. And so being successful against the West Coast, I wanted to go, translate that out here too.
As we were working our way back in time, as you were awarded with the Wendell Scott Trailblazers Award. How meaningful was it to win that award and have so much meaning behind it?
Yeah, I mean, one person every year only wins that award. So it's Wendell Scott, and his history in motorsports and kind of making a trail for others to follow and, like breaking through the sport. So up to 500 people can be candidates for the award every year. So it sounds like a lot, but you think about how many racers there are in this country, and that's such a small portion of us. And just to be nominated is really cool. And then I actually ended up winning the award, which I almost didn't believe it when I heard it because I was like, there's no way, like me out of everybody. But it's the people I had around me, the tracks I raced at. Actually, one of the tracks I raced at nominated me for the award. So it's just pretty cool to see your efforts, get recognized every once in a while. And, you know, you're like, it took into the points that I was racing that year, the car I was racing, the points, the standings I was in, and just kind of like what we were talking about earlier, is paving the way for the next generation. And being able to do that, everything just came together, and got to speak at one of the NASCAR banquets and just talk about my time in the sport and what I've had to overcome to get there. So just gives you, a chance to tell your story and to help inspire others.
And as you previously mentioned, right before the NASCAR season kicked off, Busch Light announced the Accelerator program, and
Mhm.
which was a huge game changer for multiple women in the sport. And you being one of them, how would you say that has helped with your career so far?
Oh, it's been huge. This year, I feel like took me to the next level. And it's all about promotion and people being aware of who you are and what you do. And the Bush Light Accelerator program does that perfectly. And our main goal with the program is to help females move up into the next level of motorsports. You look at the Cup Series, and there's no females in the series at all. So you think that's the most popular one. When people turn on their TVs to watch NASCAR, that's what they watch. And so Bush's history within motorsports and NASCAR, and using that platform that they have to give people like myself a chance, and then to put new faces and new looks, on TV to help inspire other people. So I'm honored to be one of the 7 that they chose, and hopefully, we can continue and build this program together.
Do you think with Rackley being a full-time in a truck series, it would be an opportunity down the road for you to make a full-time start?
I don't know. I would like to hope so. I mean, that's the goal with racing, is to move up every year, and to have done the Canon West series and late models and touring with that. I feel like that would be the next step to really jump up. But honestly, it's all dependent on sponsorship and how that works out. And so I would love the opportunity to compete in the truck series, but we'll just kind of see how everything plays out and what I get for sponsorship.
Well, one of the things that happened what was it, 2 months ago, you were a part of the fan vote to be a part of one of the SRX races. So how did that kind of feel to know you had the opportunity, if the fans voted right, to go
Mhm.
out there and race with some racing icons across all motorsport?
It would have been a pretty cool opportunity. Some of those names you don't see every day, let alone race against every day. So definitely big names in the sport, and just to be picked for, I think there's only 6 of us that have ever raced at Nashville to be in that vote. So I think, being my win and being the first female to win there definitely helped with that. But it's also just, you have the locals and you have the big names in that voting, and we got second, so we were pretty close, and it was a nationwide vote. So I think we did pretty good. We got the word out there, but we just needed a little bit more.
And the last question so far, when you were out on the West Coast up in Washington, as you mentioned, you won the 2 championships. And how was that impactful to be able to contend for them and then go on to win?
So, like on the West Coast, I was always known for go-karts growing up and had my success there. So, jumping into stock cars was like a whole new world for me. And these are the people I grew up watching every week. So, and I'm like, I now race with them. And it was a big step and like a little bit of pressure to do good and, transfer everything I learned from go-karts into stock cars. And we went out there, won Rookie of the Year in 2016, and then championships in 17 and 18. And I think the coolest thing about that was winning the championship the second year to back up the first one. Because I feel like it's easy to say, like, oh, it was only one or all that kind of stuff. But to do it 2 times in a row just really proved our speed and how good we were at those tracks and being competitive and winning. So, just kind of cool to reiterate, like, yeah, we earned this, we can do it again. And it's just all about like confidence too, right? Like racing is such a mental sport, it's all in your head. So anytime you can do good and, kind of have that in your back pocket, I think it always helps as a driver.
Well, I think that wraps everything up. Fabian, do you have anything else?
No, not really.
All right. Well, once again, Brittney, thank you for joining us today. It's been wonderful to have you on and talk to you and to learn more about you along with the people tuning in. So look forward to seeing what you do throughout the year moving forward and hope to have you on again in the future.
All righty, thank you.
And with that, thank you everyone for tuning in. Join us later this week with the latest information in the world of motorsports. Until then, we'll see you next time.